can't blame coaches for everything. You have to be your best coach because you're going to be the one that's there no matter what team you're on, no matter where you go, no matter what situation you're in. You're going to be there every time. It's time to buy or sell. Nailed it. Let's purchase somebody right now. Let's purchase someone. I am going to buy, because I was at the game, a Pablo Lopez. My first buy is Pablo Lopez, and let's talk about why I'm going to buy on Pablo. So if you look at these statistics, the first thing that I'm noticing is how everything but the ERA is pretty much lined up from this year to last year. Strikeout rate, whip. He is top quarter of the league and pretty much everything but fastball velocity, which is interesting to me because he's always thrown so hard. His velo is down just a scooch, but he had a 14 strikeout game the other day, and then he came into Seattle and struck out 9. Now, again, or 13 strikeout game, rather. Yes, it was Oakland and it was the Mariners, but the last 2 starts have been very, very good, and he looked good there. He does do some weird stuff that I was like, why are you doing that? But overall, peripherally, he's really good, and he's pitching better now. His command's getting better. But do you know what the biggest reason for his struggles this year have been? You guessed it. Look at where his fastball is being thrown. Look at that. That is right down the middle. This is not good. And then the changeup's also getting too much play too. His changeup's also he's throwing it really, really hard this year. Like it's really, really hard. It's like 89. So he's throwing 94 and 89. For these to be this close in movement profile, their velo needs to be different. So he's not, basically his changeup is not functioning with movement anymore. It's not moving enough differently than his fastball. So let's actually look how the fastball is performing. So interestingly enough, his fastball being right down the middle is hurting all his other pitches. Isn't that crazy? So let's see, whiff rate. His whiff rate's around 30% of everything, right? Hard hit rate, it's normal. That's normal for a fastball. Slugging's 382. The problem is his curveball's getting shillelaid when it gets hit. So it's not getting hit a lot, but when it is, that 500 slugging, not good. Guys are missing it. They're also swinging hard at it and 50% rate. So he's getting hurt on his curveball quite a bit. And it looks like he's decided that the sinker is no longer his friend. I didn't see him throw many sinkers. Actually, I didn't see him throw any sinkers. But he was throwing a whole bunch of curveballs. They were getting hit harder than they should get hit. And he's throwing sweepers to lefties, which is weird. A lot of people are throwing sweepers to lefties, and I don't know why, because it's still not doing very well. Funnily enough, he's having a weird-ass year, and I think he's only going to keep getting better, and that means good things for the Twins. Like, there's no huge glaring thing. It just comes down to command. I think it comes down to timing of his command. Pablo Lopez, hockey sticking upwards, and as soon as these things level out, his fastball's doing work. I bet you these things all kind of shake out a little bit better. Trust me, he knows all this stuff we talked about. He knows. Next up, also buying Matt Olsen and him playing. Matt Olsen has played in 540 consecutive games. Matt Olsen, 540 consecutive games. Number 2 on this list, the guy behind him for the active lead is Pete Alonso with 172. So no one's close to Matt Olsen. I'm buying. That is, as a teammate, if I were Matt Olsen's teammate, I'd be like, that guy's a gamer. 540 games. Wow. My third. I'm buying the St. Louis Cardinals. They won 16 games in June to go 16-12. Pitched a lot better. 274 BABIP. That's pretty dang good, chat. And a 3.5 ERA across the board. I wonder where they actually sit with everybody, because that's a pretty solid month. They won the second most games. They're 5th in WAR for their pitching, and the pitching has carried them. Shout out to Sonny Gray. I got them right back into the season. They are I think they're the over 500 for the first time in the Ollie Marmol era. They've been pitching a little bit better. Their hitting is still middle of the pack, kind of like the inverse of the Mets currently right now. The Mets have a great offense. Their pitching still like meh, but like they're winning games still. They're doing it with their pitching, with their veteran staff. Right now, the Cardinals are in the playoffs. So what are we doing? Why is no one talking about that? It's probably because they're not doing anything like crazy, but they are playing better. So you got to give them love where it is due. All right. And I'll be honest, I was pleasantly surprised to see them. So I'm buying on the Cardinals right now. And I wanted to give them a little bye week just to see if that helps a little bit. All right. Now let's get into some sell. Who am I selling? Worst batting in the league by WAR. Chicago White Sox, negative WAR. Yikes. That's tough to do. Seattle, 7.2. I am selling the Mariners offense because, oh my God, what is going on? Watching them is awful. Now, I'm sorry. It's just so hard to watch. I know guys are doing their best. There's a couple of my friends on the team. It just seems like so disjointed. Worst batting average, Seattle, 218. On base, 298. There's something about where they are and who they have and who's available in their lineup. So let's talk a little bit about this. So let's break this down just a little bit. Why I think the Mariners they have the talent to be a good offense, but they're not working together very well. Like, so JP gets on base really well. He grinds at bats. Julio swings at the first pitch, no matter where it is, every single time. And then Cal comes up and swings at the first pitch, no matter where it is, every single time. It's infuriating because Cal and Julio should be their most productive hitters, but they just give away at bats, trying to do something they don't need to do right now. You can talk about coaching, but they have different coaches all the time. Tommy Joseph is their hitting coach. It doesn't matter. If the guys don't do what you're talking about doing, that's not your fault, right? So here's the weird situation. Here's how hitting works. Hitting the ball hard is the best thing to do. But sometimes you need to have a good idea of how you, like, they go down 5-1, right? They go down 5-1. Julio Rodriguez is leading off the next inning. The pitcher out there, Pablo, it's Pablo, right? He's in the 7th inning now. So he's the most tired. You're facing him for the 3rd time. This is when you're supposed to get guys like this. You got to get something going. What's he do? He throws a fastball in, and Julio swings at a pitch 4 inches inside, explodes his bat, and pops out first pitch of the inning. Dude, you have to get on base. You have to get on base. Even if you hit a home run right now, it doesn't matter at all. You get on first, then maybe Cal gets a better pitch because he's worried about you over there at first. These are things that leaders and like the best players and teams have to think about. For that at bat, his job was to get on base, not hit a solo homer, not hit a triple, not hit a double, get on base. Minimum. Julio gets on base. Cal sees a pitch. It's 1-0. Now we're cooking. But instead, they saw 3 total pitches and both of them got out. Now, Garv's really struggled with sliders down and away. He's getting everything else, but he really struggles with the sliders down the way. So he knows he's just struggling with the pitch. Sweepers are killing him, man. He's getting dominated by sweepers. Polanco isn't finding any continuity here either. I think Josh Rojas put together some of the best ABs on the team, but the problem is they're batting Rojas 9th and they're batting JP first. That's just, they're back to back. Rojas needs to be batting like 6th. And then they need to put like Rayleigh behind Rojas. So Rayleigh's putting together the best ABs, Rojas is putting together the best ABs, and JP's putting together the best ABs. The rest of the guys are kind of just swinging. Like Ty France is just kind of swinging, doing his check swing every time the pitch comes. He goes like throws his hands right in the way of the ball. No wonder he gets hit there all the time. He does this thing, which I want to talk to him about this. Why he does this? It's really interesting. So I'm selling on that because of the nature of their park. They need to grind at bats, and the nature of their pitching staff, they need to grind at bats, and they're not grinding at bats, not as a team. They're not. So, selling, Mariners, offense. My last sell of the day, you know what? I'll just say it. The Texas Rangers. They're underwhelming. I think they have slightly better record than the Angels. They didn't do much in the offseason. We called this. I said, I think they're just going to roll with what they got because they have lots of good players. They're already paying them. So, and they just won a World Series. I know fans don't want to hear that. But you don't need to do a big splash. You don't need to. They should be sated for a little bit. And so they're not going to I bet you they do nothing at the deadline. I bet you they don't sell either. They just kind of stand pat. And maybe they sell if Scherzer's healthy or whatever, then get something for him, they will. Like that kind of thing. But I think they're just going to kind of roll, maybe do a lateral move or two, add a guy, maybe add a Blue Jay to their pen, like a Chad Green type, because he wouldn't be that expensive, but I think they will always feel like they can get hot and make the playoffs without it. So, John Gray's been inconsistent, though Andrew Heaney did throw really well last night. Shout out to Heaney. Played with him too. Heaney was a hilarious dude. Love that guy. Especially if Seager's out for a little bit, it's going to be tough. Bye-bye.